the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. You either love this park because you're a foodie, a drinker, or you love the quirky 80s edutainment, or the park's mix of 80s and 90s hot mess. If you're not in one of those camps, then you just don't get Epcot, and it's okay, or you don't like it. For me, I'm firmly in the camp that loves this park. In fact, this is my favorite park at Walt Disney World, and part of the reason it got 2 days. More on that later. Our first day has us with the whole family. It started with some character meet and greets through World Showcase. Alice, Aurora, and Belle, before hitting Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, a 4D dark ride based off the Disney Pixar film. This is a fun ride as you shrink down to the size of a rat and help Remy prepare a feast. Calamity ensues. This addition is exactly what this park needed as a family-friendly addition. I'm somewhat on the fence for bringing characters into World Showcase. However, if they fit in the country that they are placed in, and it's done well, like in this case, even if it's a clone, could we really be that mad? From that, we walked around the World Showcase promenade and took in a few of the food and wine offerings. Gyros from Greece, teriyaki buns from Japan, and the fry sampler. All of these were very delicious offerings. After our snacking, it was time to hit the pedal to the metal on one of the Epcot's original thrill rides, Test Track. While I prefer the original incarnation, this new one lets you design a sim car. I let my nephew choose. Then take it off to the sim track, culminating in that 65 mile an hour speed test outside. Test Track is always a thrill and one of the best rides Disney's ever created. I still prefer the original version with its industrial testing ground feel. As we let the kids play the interactive games in the Test Track post-show, a few of us were waiting to join the virtual queues for Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which we did end up getting 2 very different times. After this, we headed towards the Imagination Pavilion. Most of our party went on. I held back with some sleeping kids. Naps are a luxury at Disney, so you take what you can get. I had a second day planned at Epcot, so I would hope to get on it on that day. Spoiler alert, I did. In that time, we also did some of the character meet and greets in this area. We proceeded over to the land for Soarin', a hang gliding adventure over several landmarks and wonders of the world. This ride is not as intense, in my opinion, but is such an amazing ride. Besides the imagery, the sense, this ride is a feast for the senses. I still prefer the original Soarin' over California over Soarin' around the world, but at least they kept Patrick Warburton as the intro.
Hello, and welcome to Soarin'. My name is Patrick, and I'll be your chief flight attendant today.
And it fits a little bit better at Epcot with the whole global theme. Maybe Disney one day will leave one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast. At least California gets it from time to time.
Anything else? Yeah. Have a nice flight.
From the land to sea with Nemo and Friends, a dark ride that recalls the events of the movie. Nemo's lost, and we're going looking for him. This leads us to Sea Base Alpha. Hey, a callback to the OG Epcot. Okay, I don't know if it's actually called Alpha still, but humor me here. Where we can explore one of the largest aquariums ever built. My daughter and nephew loved watching the fish swim all around. From that point, half of our group got a callback for Guardians. I must say, I have a wonderful family. The first boarding group had room for 3 people. I got told, Rick, you're the crazy coaster nerd. Go. How do you say no to that? So first off, I unfortunately, in all my years of coming to Epcot, never did go in the Universe of Energy. So this was legit my first experience in this building. And I was blown away by the whole experience. Disney may be known for skipping on the details and polish lately. This might be the exception to that. For those who don't know, this ride has you enter the Wonders of Xandar Pavilion to see Xandarian tech, the cosmic generator. Which, in simple Earth terms, it lets you opens up warp holes through space. Well, a celestial being steals it, and the Guardian sends you to go with them to get it back, using us as like a tracker to help jump back to Earth. The coaster is not what one would expect when you say the words spinning coaster. While it does spin and do complete 360s, the spinning is more in a traditional way like the Haunted Mansion or other Omni movers, facing you in certain directions at certain times. This leaves you with G-forces and airtime in directions you normally don't get to experience them from. Add to that the randomized music and a massive amount of track. You might very well have the best coaster in all of Walt Disney World. After that, we wandered around World Showcase and took in some of the pavilions before grabbing a bite to eat and doing Frozen Ever After, a boat ride through Arendelle to a special celebration in Elsa's Castle. A fun ride for the family, and it has a good little drop for good measure. It is built off the original tricks for the Maelstrom after all. From there, we split. The boys went to go do Guardians since the other window opened. The girls went to go watch Harmonious. So, yeah, 2 rides in one day. Lucky, yes. Even better the second time, though. Because, the first time, you're taking everything in and getting that first experience, and then the second time you really can sit and appreciate the extra detail, including the mix of screens and physical effects. This is not just a coaster in a box. Like, Disney actually went through with screens, with imagery throughout, and a handful of different physical effects. I, quite frankly, was not expecting it to have as much in it as it did. Anyways, after that, we ended up with enough time for one more ride. So we ended our night with a ride on Spaceship Earth. I love a good classic edutainment dark ride, and I do love this ride. I wish, though, it still had the dioramas on the descent down at the end. Anyways, this ride, through the history of communication, is a shining reminder of what Epcot was, and hopefully we'll eventually get a nice update and stay as close to the original as it can for years to come. I don't really want to see this go in the direction a lot of the other classic Epcot dark rides have gone, and I do hope eventually it does get the nice new refurb. It hasn't had one since 2008. While it still holds up pretty well, it definitely does deserve a little bit more polish and updates. And that was our day at Epcot. This is my favorite park at Walt Disney World, so I always enjoy my day here. How about you? What do you think of Guardians of the Galaxy? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the parks.